Hey guys, Mike here with We Watched the Movie. Jay couldn't be here today because he is hosting a Men with Ugly Wieners contest. He's the keynote speaker. Arrival, directed by Denis Villeneuve. This is a spoiler review, by the way, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this. Trust me, this is a movie you do not want spoiled for you. Just save it, man. Just save it. Aliens come down, and they're in these Independence Day type pods, but this movie's not Independence Day, as you well know, at all. It's nothing like it. But it's still got that cool feel of like the alien things coming down and just hanging out and us being like, what the fuck? Why are you here? It's got that awesome feel to it, but none of the cheese and none of the, fucking intergalactic battle shit going on. There's no Bill Pullman doing Independence Day speeches in this movie. It's a really, really serious movie for an alien movie. Eventually what happens is we go and talk to him, and Amy Adams discovers that their language is non-linear in time, and it pops all over the fucking place, but it's also the key to time travel. Once you can understand their language, you can travel through time in your brain. And they gave this to her so that she can teach everybody else, because they are going to need the humans' help in 3,000 years with an issue that they're dealing with. So what exactly did they give her? They gave her time travel, yeah, but along with time travel comes the ability to go in the future and find all new technology and all this new stuff. So I'm guessing that they gave her this so that we can learn how to create fucking badass spaceships to space travel to do all this other crazy stuff as well. They're giving us the time to build the resources we need so that in 3,000 years our race will be evolved enough to where we can go up there and save their asses with something that they couldn't do for themselves. Now the movie doesn't go into that. It leaves a lot hanging in the balance. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys today is, as crazy as it sounds with a movie this serious and this deep, you wouldn't get a sequel out of it. But there's a fuckload of space here for anybody to go into sequel territory and tell some weird, crazy stories based on this timeline. It would take a lot of thought and effort into the script, because even with this movie, one of the few things I could say that's bad about it is that it has some plot holes. Maybe. And I'm sure that they can probably be debunked, but there is a question of, if she can travel through space and time, and she's been able to, how did she not see the bomb going off? How did she not see all this stuff beforehand? Because technically, if you can go into the future, you can go into the past. So she could have just popped up into the past and told herself, hey, this is what's going on. I'm going to save you a month of trying to figure out and scaring the world to death. But that's where time travel gets really, really icky. And any movie is going to run into that problem. Different dimensions, all sorts of shit. If you go back in time, do you mess with the future? Can't she go back in time now and do something to save her daughter who died? Can't she go into the future where they have a cure for her daughter and come back and fix the problem? Maybe that's something they would explore in a sequel. Maybe they can make that the whole basis of the point. They're trying to go into the future to find the cure for cancer and come back and save her daughter. That whole thing, I gotta tell you guys, that whole fucking thing was just heartbreaking. I have a little girl, that's one of my biggest fears in the universe, is for her to get sick or something like that to happen. And this movie broke my heart and depressed me a little bit with all that stuff. Did you guys, by the way, get a Zack Snyder feel out of this? The cinematography, literally the girl running around in like the cowgirl Wonder Woman costume, like just her feet running through the woods and shit. It looked exactly like the cinematography from a Zack Snyder movie, which is weird because, Amy Adams. Yeah, and then Jeremy Renner, as we know, he was her husband all along. They just hadn't gotten together yet. It actually took me a minute to get that. And that's another question I have for you guys. Did you guys get it immediately, or did you feel really stupid when you left? Because when I left the theater, I was like, what? I also didn't know if they had just, like, touched by an angel, gave her the gift of time travel for a second there. Like, when they sent her up into the pod and she was in that weird fucking Contact universe, if they had touched her and, like, given her the ability to understand time travel at that point, so maybe that's when she actually got it, or if she was learning time travel along the way. I think she was learning it along the way as she learned their language, since she was so much better at everybody else, and they hit on that over and over again in the movie. You're so much better at this language stuff than anybody else is, that she was able to start understanding it before anybody else. So therefore, she wasn't specifically given the gift, but she was the one to learn it. I'm a little slow on these things sometimes, so it took a few seconds for everything to click in. But Denis Villeneuve, if I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. This, I think, is his quintessential movie. I thought Enemy was good, but a little bit frustrating, and just a little bit too whining refing in the snob nose, like, you're trying too hard territory, just a little bit. But I think that Arrival is going to be his flagship movie. Like, I think this is going to be the movie that really puts him on the map, and I think he's now etched himself up there with, I'm not saying who's better or whatever, but I think he's up in the echelon now of the Christopher Nolans. This is a very Christopher Nolan movie. Of the Christopher Nolans, David Finchers, and stuff like that. I think for sure. And unlike other people who I think are unfairly given that pass, like the guy who just directed Ouija 2, Mike Flanagan, I don't think he's in that territory at all. But this guy, I think, is. And I think he's one of those guys now that when a movie comes out by him, you're going to stop and be like, oh, sweet, this one's going to be memorable, if nothing else. A point where M. Night Shyamalan was at one point. Not a cheesy twist master, but just like a deep, you're going to have to think about this shit when it's over guy. And you got to appreciate that. This script and everything is so well done and so well placed. The scene, guys, when they're going into the spaceship, was the best scene of the movie, in my opinion. Jeremy Renner, I thought, was awesome in this movie, by the way. He was very unlike himself. He was actually really, truly playing a part, and I really appreciate that. I think he's underrated as shit. Amy Adams was super awesome, too. Because I think she had to go this whole movie not giving away the fact that her daughter hadn't died yet. Because you're looking at her, you're like, God, this chick is depressed as shit. I would be, too. And I'm looking at her with sympathy the entire movie when it hasn't even happened to her yet. And she did a great job holding that in. So, but yeah, no, the scene where they go into the spaceship was just intense and fucking amazing. The reason the whole movie is so good is because Villanueva has a way of, in movies they tend to skip over this shit. They're like, oh yeah, the aliens are here. There's fucking people running away in pandemonium, and then like everything's crazy and it's batshit intergalactic war. They skip over the fact that if you're a human being, just driving up to the spaceship and having to go through the tent, having the military push you around here and there, even if you're a person of interest, a special person that they need your help, the crazy paranoidisms and like the freaky stuff that goes into that must be like just driving in the truck on the way up, the unease of just driving in the truck on the way to the military tent or walking through the military tent. He manages to forget about the aliens, just being in this situation. He manages to really put you in those shoes, and everybody's gotta wonder in your head, man, what would that be like to make contact with an alien, be one of the first people on the scene? And they just put you in those shoes in an amazing way. They make every character very, very human so that you can really relate to what they're going through the entire movie. And he does a great job of it. A lot of alien movies suck because they can't do that. But the sci-fi stuff when they go up there and you're looking up into this thing and then all of a sudden the gravity tilts and you can just walk sideways. I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I don't like heights. I want to meet an alien and shit, but no, bye. I'm done. That was so cool. And the way they did it, they took their time with it. They made it awesome. I was a little bit disappointed in the way the aliens looked. They still look pretty cool, but the octopus dangling thing, and then like, let's be honest, like when she has the dream and you get the up-close look at them, it literally looks like somebody's got their hand inside of a shit puppet. Like you can see like knuckles, and they look like a human hand just dangling, but covered in poo. I don't know, I didn't love the way the aliens looked, but when they started with the fucking smoke coming out of their hands and stuff like that, it was really, really scary. And a few horror, like Ridley Scott elements to it as well. I really, really loved this movie, and the twist actually caught me and really threw me for a trip. The twist in the account, and I figured that out like the second I was watching the movie. I was really proud of that. I had no idea in this one. Truly got me. And it's always fun to have a Donnie Darko type movie that you can think about and talk to about, and it's interesting to talk to on message boards with people with on the internet if you're a dork like me afterwards. I give this a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this freaking movie. And what do you guys think? Do you think there's going to be a sequel? Do you think that she's going to be able to go back in time and save her daughter? I want her to, because I want to not be sad at night when I'm alone in my bunk. And I forgot to say it! I said, God damn! I love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some whammo.